Well, maybe because the stock itself has declined so much in anticipation of bad numbers that maybe there is some amount of short covering which is taking place on the counter. But Mayuresh also joins in to give us his sense on the numbers. Mayuresh, what did you think of the performance?
The performance has been disappointing, Ekta. And if you look at the top line, I think below what we had estimated. What really is coming through, as Prakash was mentioning, and as the management discussed in the earlier con call, that the currency issues are going to hurt Q4 numbers, and that's what exactly has happened. What's happened with Venezuela, with outstanding sales standing at $60 million odd, that definitely has had an impact in terms of how the Latin American country has performed. And again, if you go in terms of how the remedial issues will pan out, there are structural issues in terms of supply disruptions for its plant. So I think that's going to attribute to cuts in FY17 numbers, to say the least. So I think the numbers have already been cut a tad bit in Q3. My suspect is that the numbers will be cut more in terms of earning expect for FY17 based on all these issues.
So I just want to throw in a little...
Surabhi, just one update in the notes to accounts, which is number 2, and maybe we should flash that
commentary
as well. Where they have said that the company believes that it can resolve the issues raised by the US FDA satisfactorily in a timely manner. The company takes the matters identified by the US FDA in the warning letter seriously and will continue to work diligently to address the observations identified in the warning letter, and is continuing to develop and implement its corrective action plans relating to it. Further, the company has provided an update to the US FDA on the progress of the remediation in Jan of 2016 and March of 2016. So that's the other thing that we should be flashing, that the that they have provided an additional update to the US FDA with regards to remediation measures on the warning letter, in the latest being March 2016. Mayuresh, larger scheme of things, would you be a buyer in Dr. Reddy's just on the fact that maybe they would resolve their US FDA issues soon enough with regards to the warning letter, and that's really when you could see the upside, or the uncertainty is too much?
The uncertainty will remain for the better part of FY17, and what happens with Srikakulam and Tuwada, I think it's going to take some amount of time. So I think the higher remedial costs associated with clearances for both these plants would entail that the earnings estimates will be cut in terms of how the growth will pan out. That will have a definite impact in terms of both supply disruptions as well as new approvals coming through, and the quantum of approvals that they would ideally like to get through as well. So I think there is a huge ANDA pipeline which is pending as well, 52 odd paraphos, 18 odd FTF pending. Even that front needs to be monitored very, very clearly. Again, the R&D expenses, apart from the remedial issues, are going to remain extremely high for Dr. Reddy's. So I think all these factors will take a toll in terms of earnings panning out for FY17, which will be soft and muted. And it all depends on the remedial and the resolution timelines that the company will bring forth in the next couple of quarters, to say the least. When we roll out the numbers for FY18, we'll have a saying in terms of how earnings upgrades will possibly happen. So I think all these factors will ensure that the stock probably consolidates or underperforms. But management commentary on all these aspects is going to be extremely critical and crucial.
Prakash, the stock's not done anything. It's been very range-bound last couple of months for obvious reasons. Is there anything in these numbers that gives you any sort of, ray of hope, or because of which one might try and do a bit of a contrarian play on Dr. Reddy's, thinking that maybe the worst is in the price?
No, there's nothing spectacular in the numbers, or there's not even any iota of improvement that would be very dramatic. But what works in this, in the favor of the company is the operational strength that it's deriving from the biosimilars portfolio. My sense is that's going to be a big game changer for the company, because there are not many players except for Biocon which are getting much ahead or making strides in this. So apart from this US thing where they've not put any timelines in terms of the remediation, as Hector was pointing out, I think the biosimilar is a big story that I would want to buy into, but the price at which I would buy into is probably closer to 28 or 27.50 or something, which is, I know, even a much more lower level than what we are seeing today.
Sure.
But the stock could succumb to this thing because of the vulnerability of the numbers, and that's going to be a great opportunity.
Prakash, in fact, in the management commentary, Mr. Prasad is talking about the biosimilars business. There's no talk at all about the US FDA issues. That's only a note to accounts. But biosimilars, the commentary that's coming from the management, they're saying that our biosimilars business is gaining traction as we've started to receive
But that is a big long-term trigger for Dr. Reddy's. There is a lot of investment that they're doing in the biosimilars business. So they do have a lot of focus on that biosimilar segment, which should pay dividends eventually.
In the future.
But we have Praful Bora of Religare Capital Markets who joins in, and he looks at the stock very closely. Praful, explain to us why the stock is in the green.
So I think clearly there was an expectation in the market that because of Venezuela and the US business going down QOQ, I think there would be the numbers would be disappointing. In my view, the numbers are slightly disappointing, but not much, as people were expecting. So clearly, I think Venezuela hit has been taken in this quarter, but I think if one were to adjust that, I think then the EBITDA is broadly in line. I think that's what is reflecting in the numbers.
If you look at the segment performance, it's extremely dismal. Global generics is absolutely flat, 0.0%. India with UCB is up 11% only. EM Russia CIS has declined another 31%. Europe is down 15%. PSAI is down 22%. How have you read the geographical performance and the segments?
So if you've been following the commentary, they have clearly mentioned in the past that the Russian and the Venezuelan impact is going to be there in the fourth quarter, and also because of the seasonality factor in the injectable business, the US sales are going to be down QOQ. So I think that is clearly what is reflected here. What's surprising to us is obviously the muted growth on the Indian business. I think the rest of the business are probably in more or less in line with what they mentioned in the past.
Were you also expecting such a sharp decline to continue for the PSAI business, considering that what they had mentioned in the previous quarter that it's likely to bounce back this quarter?
See, PSAI is more like a non-focus segment for them, in the sense they are very calibrated in terms of what they're selling outside. I think most of the APIs that they are using are now for internal consumptions. So I think that's clearly a segment which they have mentioned that it will not grow much in the going forward. So having said that, I think this decline was not expected, but then this business tends to be a little lumpy in nature. So probably one quarter you'll see huge growth, and this next quarter you can see a slump in the business. So probably I think I would not read too much into this.
What have you read in terms of the overall performance, especially what they've said about the US FDA remediation issues? And now, do you think that the worst of Venezuela is behind them?
So I clearly think the worst of Venezuela is behind them, because they stopped selling in Venezuela from November onwards. I think in terms of the US resolution, the US plant resolution, I think what is clearly the course of action for them is they've been submitting updates to the FDA, and FDA has to get back to them. So it's status quo as of now, and we'll have to see how it goes.
So the SG&A expenses are up 7%, and R&D obviously is taking a backseat because they're dealing with other regulatory issues. So R&D expenses are now 11.5% of the revenues at the end of the fiscal, compared to 11.8%, which is where they were at the end of the previous fiscal, FY15. Praful, we were just talking to Prakash as well, and he's not enthused at all. I mean, maybe the worst is behind them, but the worst being behind doesn't necessarily mean that something good is in the pipeline immediately. Do you see any immediate positive triggers? Prakash didn't see anything from the Q4 performance.
So I think we clearly have a whole rating. I think our view is broadly the same, that we expect the earnings to be flat this year, YOY basis. So our sense is that given the fact that Venezuela is not going to be there in the numbers next year because they've stopped selling there, and US business, a couple of the products like Vidasa and Nacogen, they can probably face competition there. So I think the earnings are not going to look up. So we are expecting flat earnings for the next year, and I think that translates into a whole rating on the stock.
Okay, fair enough. So what are you telling your clients post numbers now, Praful?
So it's not a very disappointing set of numbers. I think they've not missed the numbers by a very large margin. I think what is clearly the key here is the update on the FDA. So only there would be a constructive view on the stock only once there is some clarity on the FDA issues. I think till then it's more like a range bound stock between 2,900 and 3,200 bucks.
Okay, well, we will want more details about the finance costs, which have spiked up quite significantly as well. 264 crores compares to 23.3 crores year on year. But overall, it is what is actually a perplexing set of numbers, according to me at least. But Prakash, Praful, as well as Mayuresh, thank you very much for joining in and taking us through the performance for Dr. Reddy's, where all the segments and all of the geographies have disappointed as opposed to what the street was expecting. Big loss in the EBITDA and a meager profit simply because they've written off whatever they had in Venezuela, and that is what the street expected. So maybe a bit of a relief rally.
All right, Ekta, thanks for that. And along with the spike in finance costs at Dr. Reddy's, take a look at what else has spiked up, the Nifty Bank. Before we wrap out of this edition of Business Lunch, take a look at the market. It's a fantastic U-turn that's underway right now. We're again up 0.5%, and it's entirely because of what's happening to the Nifty Bank. Look at the intraday chart of SBI. There's a 2% surge. ICICI Bank is surging almost 3%. So lots of movers and shakers out there in the banking universe. We'll have Mid-Cap Radar coming up next. Carry that action forward.